A popular surgeon cut off his two legs. It sounds crazy, right? This is a real life story. Hello, one people. Welcome back to this channel. I am Mr. Muffler. On this channel, we make reaction video to widest, the craziest, and unbelievable real life stories, just to see what humanity teaches us, just for educational purposes, self-awareness, and a little fun. If you believe in self-awareness, subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and share to anyone who. Now, let's go to our story. Surgeon jailed after amputation of own legs. Neil Hooper was motivated by sexual interest in amputation. The court held an NHS vascular surgeon who had let his own leg removed has been jailed for 2 years and 8 months for insurance fraud and possessing extreme pornography. Alright, so a man called Neil Hooper, a surgeon called Neil Hooper, has been arrested for insurance fraud. Insurance fraud. So now the insurance fraud is like an international act for misleading. It's an international act of misleading an insurer just for to gain a financial benefit. So he was arrested and jailed for 2 years and 8 months for 2 counts: 1 for insurance fraud and 2 for extreme pornography, possessing extreme pornography. So meaning either he has been watching an extreme pornography. This is not the extreme pornography, it's not like the normal pornography. That's the professional one, which you can be watching, and for the only thing you'll be seeing is this. You'll be seeing this. But this one is not like that. Extreme pornography goes beyond our sexual organs. So let's move forward. Neil Hooper, 49, of Truro, Cornwall, carried out hundreds of amputations operations before having his own legs removed in 2019. Truro court held he lied to insurance by claiming that injuries to his leg were the result of sepsis and not self-inflicted. It held that in May 2019, Hooper had below-knee amputations after a mysterious illness. In fact, he had used ice and dry ice to freeze his own legs, so they had to be removed, said Prosecutor Nicholas Lee. Alright, so Neil Hooper has already carried out more than 100 surgery before cutting off his 2 legs. So maybe that could have triggered him to also cut off his 2 legs. But who knows? Let's still proceed with the story and see. So the court heard Hooper, who admitted 2 counts of fraud and 3 of possessing extreme pornography, had a sexual interest in amputation. Judge James Atkins said in the sentencing that he accepted that Hooper, who had no previous convictions, was remorseful. However, the level of harm in the 3 videos of body mutilation, which were the subject of the pornography charges, was exceptionally high. He said Hooper had both legs amputated. After complaining that his feet were in pain, he was treated for suspected sepsis before he was told by surgeons that he should have his leg amputated, and he was operated on. Repeating, He was treated for suspected sepsis before he was told by the surgeons that he should have his legs amputated, and he was operated on. He did not tell the medics the real cause of his injuries, the court said. The fraudulent insurance claims from two firms totaled more than 466,000, the court held. Hooper had been tempted by greed, said Mr. Lee. He had messaged a friend about the claims of saying he should milk it. The court held. He enjoyed the interest from the media in his case. Mr. Lee told the court his motivations were a combination of obsession with removing part of his own body and a sexual interest in doing so. He said it seems to have been a long-standing ambition of his. He said. So, alright, so the story shows that Hooper had no any previous bad records with regard to treating patients or forcing patients to cut off their leg or any part of their body. But then he just take his own interest of cutting off his body or cutting off his leg just for financial benefit. So Mr. Lee said he's greedy. Think he think the surgeon Hooper is very greedy. So his greediness that caused him to do that. So if you are greedy, it can cause you to do that. To cut off your two legs. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. I think if you are greedy, it can force you to cut off your two legs. But that's what Mr. Lee is saying. And according to the two firms too, when they calculated the amount, the firm calculated the amount frauded by Neil Hooper, it was 466,000 euros. So he was greedy because of 466,000 euros. Now, the string pornography offenses were connected to videos of body mutilations that Hooper had purchased online and did not include children. The court held. Hooper was identified following investigations into Marius Gustafsson, who ran the Enoch Chemical website. Mr. Lee told the court that Hooper had bought three videos from the website for €10 and €35 respectively, showing men willingly having their genitals removed. He also exchanged about 1,500 messages with Gustafsson about his own lower leg amputations. So he also exchanged about 1,500 messages with Gustafsson about his own lower leg amputations and how he had done it, including asking how much dry ice he used. Gustafsson was jailed for life with a minimum term of 22 years at the Old Bailey in 2024 for leading an extreme body modification ring. Hooper had suffered body dysphoria since childhood, and his feet were in an unwelcome extra and a persisting, never-ending discomfort to him, said Mr. Langdon. Alright, so at this point, let's summary here because here is very long. There's a man called Mario Gustafsson, whom Neil Hooper had purchased. Mario Gustafsson is running a website called Enomeka website. So with this website, they only sell damaged human organs. They only sell damaged human organs. So Neil Hooper contacted him, and then they started chatting for so long, which even Neil Hooper had purchased three body mutilations from Neil Hooper, from Mario Gustafsson, which one was 10 euros and 35 euros. So Mario Gustafsson has also been arrested and jailed for 22 years for running that website. Now, in the case of Neil Hooper, he was arrested and jailed for 2 years, 8 months. So the story is very long, but let's read the last part and then come to the conclusion of the story, because the story is very long. Hooper did not regret the operations but bitterly regret the dishonesty about their cause. He said, after the operations, Hooper had been totally overwhelmed by support from friends and family, which made it even more difficult to tell them what had really happened. Hooper, who is originally from Aberystwyth, Crediton, had been employed by the Royal Cornwall Hospital (NHS) Trust from 2013 until he was arrested in March 2023. A spokesperson from the Royal Cornwall Hospital Trust said after the case that the convictions did not relate to Mr. Hooper's professional conduct at its hospital. The trust had carried out comprehensive clinical reviews of surgery by Hooper, including engaging an experienced independent clinical expert to review decisions to operate. They said, "We want to reassure the public that our exhaustive investigations have found no evidence whatsoever to indicate any risk or harm to patients at our hospital." They said, let's jump the story. Let's jump. The story is very long. So, lastly, Hooper also worked at the Royal Gwent Hospital in Newport, Wales, for a period of training in general surgery in 2011. Honouring Benevan Hospital Health Board has confirmed in an interview with the BBC in 2023. He also said he has worked in Swansea and Bangor. The relevant head board have been asked to confirm. This is the most interesting part. The Crown Prosecution Service said it will be making an application under the Proceeds of Crime Act 2022 to recover the money that Hooper acquired through the fraud. Alright, so that's the end of the story. Let's summarize the story here. There's a man called Neil Hooper. Neil Hooper is a popular surgeon who has made over 100 surgery to patients. And then through that, one day, unexpectedly, they just heard Neil Hooper has cut off his two legs out of sepsis, a disease called sepsis. Now, this happened in May 2019. So, an investigation went on and they realized Neil Hooper cut off his two legs, not because of any disease being affected on his leg. Through investigation, they realized Neil Hooper rather did it out of greediness, said by a prosecutor called Prosecutor Nicholas Lee. So Nicholas Lee said, no, it was out of greediness because he wanted to take that amount claimed that he took from the firms, which is 466,000 euros. So Nicholas Lee, Neil Hooper took 466,000 euros from the firms because he claimed he has sepsis, so he has to go for surgery, and these insurance firms have to give him those money. So however, Neil Hooper has been arrested and jailed for 2 years and 8 months because His case was not out of sepsis, but frauding the insurance firm. However, he was arrested and jailed for two counts. First was frauding or misleading the insurance firm to receive an amount of 466,000 euros. And secondly, for possessing an extreme pornography. So extreme pornography is like is beyond, like I explained in the first video, is beyond the normal pornography where you see two, or let's say two different sex having an affair or doing all raws, every raw, anything just to release their their sexual arousal. However, the however, those firms are now claiming they want to receive all their monies back. So that's the short and the summary of the story of a man called Nehopa. But so now let's break this, or let's have some argument here. I believe Nehopa, well, people said he's not, it's not, some said it's not greediness. It's out of, when you read the story, you see that Nehopa was having some kind of discomfort issues when he was a child. So maybe that could have triggered him. Maybe, you see, the fact that someone is a doctor does not mean he does not have mental issues. That's why communication is important. Someone might be a doctor, but must be suffering from some things that you may not like to put it out. So there should be counselors that could go and be visiting all these firms or all these people, and then asking them how or some of the challenges they are going through. Sometimes you have to be visiting the hospital and be having conversation with our doctors and telling them their challenges. So people claim Nehopa, according to prosecutor Nicholas Lee, he said Nehopa is greedy. That's why he went for the surgery, just to take that amount of money. But do you think it's out of greediness? He did it because of greediness, not because maybe he was feeling some illness. Ah, well, so that's what the story is all about. Let me see your suggestion at the comment section. However, I am Mr. Muffler.